Hello, lovely people. How you guys doing? So we are back again with another video. My name is Kwame, as usual, and we're just gonna dive right into this video. So around this time last year, I remember I was really preparing for this Spec commercial that I was really looking forward to, right? And today, this whole video is just gonna be about my whole process going into this Spec commercial, what I learned from it, my mindset, everything that led me into doing this project. So it's so funny because I was already doing specs in my photography days when I was doing a lot of photography. But when I started to pursue especially videography and cinematography as a career, I realized I didn't really have anything to show for. Yes, I could shoot stuff, but I really didn't have a lot of stuff to show for and be like, okay, cool, like this is what I can do. So when it got into videography or cinematography, I realized that most times certain people, I was like, oh yeah, I know how to shoot videos and all that. But I realized that most people, I didn't have anything really to show for, right? I didn't have anything to show for that, hey, I can do this, or hey, I know how to do this, or hey, I can do videos for you, I can do this kind of stuff. So this led me into deciding to start doing specs, right? My whole mindset and my whole process of going into this was I just want to have something that I can show that, hey, I know how to do this, or I can do this, right? So I came up with this concept. I always call it the Klein Spec commercial. I came up with this really nice concept where I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to shoot a Klein Spec commercial, and I was going to direct it, and I was also going to DP it and see, at least give myself like a foundation and certain things that I can at least give myself like a blueprint, see where I can be better at and where I can improve, right? So I was able to, put a crew together. I was able to reach out to certain friends from film school, certain friends that I've met in my film career, certain friends that I've been on their productions, and in order to have my friend Grace Noah, who was a set designer for me. I have another friend of mine, her name is Grace. She came up to be my script supervisor for me. I had my friend Vincent, who was my first AD, my friend Victor, who is a director, who I've also been DPing his project for him. I think I'm even shooting a short film. I'm DPing a short film this year for him and all that. I have my friend Travis, who was my first. It's like, I was able to find so many people to come in and do it to help me out, right? Going into this process, this project, honestly speaking, I was not really looking into trying to have the most outrageous stuff or have the best of the best works, right? Because I knew that I was trying to build a portfolio, right? And then it was not something that I was gonna get everything done or get the best of the best out of from my first Spec commercial, right? It was not that I knew that yes, I wanted to deliver, but it was like an outlet for me to test how far I can go or what I know. So this whole project, I'm not going to lie, it was my first time really manning like a bigger crew, right? Having yes, I've done weddings where sometimes doing weddings I'll go like 1 or 2 people, but a bigger crew as a cinematographer, as a director, there was a lot of things that I really faced. One of the things that I think I faced was, I remember a day or two to the shoot days, the model that I had to come and be the lead actor for the project, he kind of we had a little bit of misunderstanding, not like an argument per se, but we're not on the same page on how we see the project when the project comes out, right? Because I made the project to a Spec commercial, but I also had it in mind that the project could be bigger and all that. So it's there was some kind of paperwork, not to tarnish the guys, and he's an awesome person, right? But there were some kind of paperwork that because he's a signed model, and the way that I wanted to take the project to, there were some clashes where I was having with his agent. So 2 days prior to shooting the project, I lost my model, right? I lost my model literally 2 days to shooting the project, and I had to really think fast because I'd already planned the shoot, bought the clothes, taking his sizes and everything for this project, because I worked with a very good friend of mine. His name is Richie, who was the designer for this project, right? So before I did bought clothes, done everything using the sizes of this model to plan it, and at the end of the day, this model kind of we didn't reach a final stage, so he had to bail out. So 2 days that. So I had to really reach out to a very good friend of mine, very, very close friend of mine, probably my best friend at this point, Solomon. I reached out to him and I was like, hey, this is currently what is going on. I have this project planned out. Our workflow designer came up with crew and everything, secured the location, all that. But the problem is my model that I was going to use has built that we can't use that model because of his agency and all that. So man, like I really need your help in making this a success, right? Luckily for me, I was lucky he was able to come in and be like, yeah, oh absolutely, I'm always there, I'm always there to support you. I'll just clear up my schedule and make room for you so that we can make this a success. So we were able to get a replacement. I think 24 hours to the shoot date, we were able to get a replacement. I had my friend Travis with me, where we were able to also go to locations to, do the whole prep, go get stuff and then all that. It was a really big thing because I've never really do a production on that level before, right? So doing that big of a production, I think we had like a crew of maybe 5 to 7 people. That was the whole crew, including me. Doing a project like that, well, number one, it really did cost because like I remember I had to spend money getting the clothes, getting the stuff, all that. I also had to spend money for the class, making sure that we all had lunch to eat and then all that. So it was an investment that I was willing to make because at the end of the day, I knew that I was testing my strength and I also wanted to have something in value to show people that, hey, this is me, my name is Kwame and I can do this for you and then all that, right? So on the shoot date, how will I even say, like, there was a lot that went on the shoot date. I remember when we were shooting and then we were doing the stuff and then we were getting ready, we were shooting stuff. We had problems. We're having problems with the FCC monitor. So I literally had to take my monitor to give to the FCC so that we would be able to pull focus. It was also even during that shoot that I realized that I was very terrible at shooting handheld and also pulling focus. So I also learned that from that shoot was like, this was also a problem. One thing that I also realized is maybe it was also because it was my first time, so I would try and see. What I realized was, especially when I came to and I was editing it and everything, I realized that trying to be the director and trying to be the cinematographer at the same time, you would probably make a lot of mistakes, right? Because I realized that my brain was divided into so many things. I was trying to direct the actor whilst also making sure that I was getting the best in the picture that I was also creating with the cinematography, right? Because I realized that especially when I was editing, I was like, okay, maybe the lighting, I could have done this, the lighting, I could have done that, all the directing, especially with the acting, I could have probably gotten this from the actor. I could have maybe told him to do this or told him to do that, right? So my brain was just divided so much that I think I was doing 50% directing, 50% being a DP. And although I'm not like really like beating myself down, but I realized that, it was that moment that I realized that maybe there are gonna be times that I probably have to let someone maybe DP my projects for me and I'll be the director, or I'll let someone direct the project and I'll be the DP, because I realized that trying to do both at the same time, sometimes you can't really give the best as you can't really give out your best that you can give for other projects, right? So it made me kind of like start putting that in my mind that sometimes just bring in someone and let someone else DP for you so that maybe you direct it, or maybe sometimes you can just write a project and give it to someone to direct, and then maybe you just be the DP for it. But trying to do both sometimes can be a hassle, right? I'm still doing both. Even in 2026, I'm still doing both. But I've already been preparing myself, especially one thing that I'm really preparing myself for 2026 is letting go and being able to give projects to other people where I'm like, cool, hey, I come and be the DP for this project and I'll just focus on the directing. Or, hey, I've written this script or have this idea, can you come and direct for me so that I'll just be the DP for the project, right? One thing that I also learned was, especially from this project, when I saw it, was the importance of especially pre-production, right? Because if it wasn't the pre-production that we did and I had went in for with the same knowledge and the same way that I was doing things, I think I probably would have messed it up. Because I remember when we got on set, By the time we got there, I knew the shots that I wanted because I had already done a storyboard, explained everything. So from A to Z, I knew exactly what I was looking for. I had done a storyboard for the project. So it's like I knew everything, how I wanted it, the shot that I wanted it to do, how I wanted the actors to act and everything. So pre-production really did save me on this project where I was like, oh, okay, I really need to start putting more energy into my pre-production. Like they always say that 95% of the work is done in pre-production. The 5% is just you showing up on set to just bring it into fruition, right? During the pre-production, I was able to know maybe certain things that we would need, certain things that we will not need, how I'm going to approach things and all that, right? One thing that I also loved was that as much as we went to pre-production and we probably did about 90 to 95% of everything that we had planned for it, I also gave myself that flexibility and be open to different creative ideas that may pop up, especially during being on set. I remember there were some shots that I planned that I wanted to use or I wanted to shoot. And then during the process, whilst we were shooting, I realized that it was better to shoot it handheld than to shoot it on a tripod, right? So it was like making those little adjustments right from it, like making those little adjustments, giving room to make those little adjustments. That is also something that I also was able to work on. And I was like, okay, cool. Like sometimes certain things you might not think about it, but they might show up on set. And then you were like, okay, cool. I think we need to make tweaks to the storyboard, or we need to make tweaks to what we had planned about it, right? So at the end of the day, we prepared for this shoot. We shot this shoot. I was also the one that edited it. I was also the one that color graded it. And the reception that I received from it was really good. A lot of people loved it. I remember I met some people. They were like, hey, I saw your Calvin Klein commercial. It was so good. Like the way it came out, I was not really expecting it to be that good. I'm not going to lie, right? I was not expecting to be able to create that kind of beauty of work. But I was so proud of myself for being able to create something that beautiful and something that very nice, right? And so I've just realized that, especially I'm still very new and I'm still learning, and I really want to do a lot of spec commercials, and I'm going to do a lot of spec commercials. I'm not going to lie, because it's so funny, because I was doing it in photography, but I didn't know that what I was doing was called specs, right? But now that I'm doing it in cinematography and video works, it's like, oh, okay, that's the name that people give to it. And I really can't wait to see how bigger my spec commercials are going to be, my spec works are going to be, whether being a spec documentary or a spec commercial or a spec music video or whatever spec that it may be. I feel like it's a very good avenue to try new things with low stakes, like a lot of pressure. But sometimes when people are paying you, there's a lot of pressure. So it's like being able to find yourself where you are able, it's a good chance to really hone your skills and see how far you can go, do things. And then it's like you have that creative freedom to be able to express yourself and see what your creative language is. I was able to see that from that spec commercial. Okay, cool. This is my way of storytelling. This is my way of approaching ideas and stuff. So like, this is just my little rant on this. I really enjoyed shooting these commercials, and I'm really hoping that especially this year I get to shoot a lot of spec commercials. So thank you guys for following me through. You guys should let me know if you want me to do a cinematography breakdown of this spec